Mine. You love my big shiny head. Aww. Drink cider. Drink lots of stuff. Drink whiskey. Drink spirits. I enjoy lots of drinks. I'm a monster. Hello. Thanks, Pedro. You're the best. You got some musics. You got some skills. Hello. How's everyone doing? I'm BoredGamer. This is a stream. It's quite a lazy stream, as all my streams kind of really are. Falling into the lazy streams. I quite like them. Give me a chance to interact with the community. And I apologise if my audio is a bit odd. My room is currently a building site. I have no curtains. So it might be a bit echoey and reverby. Just bear that in mind. Also, I'm slightly blinded by the light coming through my windows because, again, no curtains. But that should, hopefully my room will be finished being plastered or at the end of Monday, so end of tomorrow. Should be good, and then we can have it painted and then finish the soundproofing. But how's everyone doing? You all good? I did my first Star Citizen stream today, 3 minutes of practice of Star Citizen crashing. But you see, that is what the community want. They want those live streams of just loading screens, the seamless loading screens. I'm not getting enough sleep. No, I'm an insomniac and I'm living in a building site at the moment. And I was up doing the Captain's podcast, Captain's Table podcast last night until like 3 in the morning. And that's when I actually got to bed. So, and then I woke up today at 8. So I've had 5 hours sleep. So I'm not tired enough to sleep now or nap, but I am pretty tired and blinded by light. So bear that in mind. If people are like, oh my God, Bod, you look like you're dying. My skin feels like it's dying. I feel pretty rough. You know, it's just it's one of those days. Also, before we get into more actual Star Citizen stuff, I weighed myself on the scales today, and I went, wow, you're a fat bastard. So, with that in mind, I am going to eat a lot better. And I'm going to do weekly scale ways to help keep me on the good and straight with food. I am almost 16 stone, so I'm just under 100 kilograms and just under 16 stone. For my height of 5'7", that's big. Okay, I don't do much in the way of exercise. I eat a lot, and I eat a lot of bad food. I mean, it's not bad food. I eat lots of good food. It's not like constant takeaway or McDonald's or Burger King or anything. I used to be a chef. I cook for myself. I love food is the problem. I eat a lot of stuff, and I eat a lot of rich things. So I'm going to cut back on some of that. I'm going to eat more sensibly and more healthily with like, instead of having constant carbohydrates and all of the rice in the world, because I love Chinese food and I'm pretty good at cooking it. I'm going to have a lot more veg and stuff, and to bulk my meals out and exercise a bit more and go through an actual routine, because my brain loves routine, loves being able to put stuff down in like spreadsheets and routine and that sort of thing. Keeps me sane, keeps me in control, keeps me not anxious. But I don't want to have health problems in 5 to 10 years time. Or, you know, I don't want to struggle to get out of bed like I do now. Nah. So, used to eat like 5 meals a day. Well, that's what I do eat. I do eat like 4 or 5 meals a day. I don't sleep much, so I eat a lot. Yeah, so 100-ish kilograms, just under 16 stone, 5'7". That's big. That's fucking big. I'm pretty dense, so I'm not super wide or anything, but I'm eat less, move more. Thank you, John Ryan. Appreciate for the advice. Unfortunately, my job does not lend itself to moving as much as I'd like, but I will. And I'm going to weigh myself every month. So every week. So at the moment I am 15 stone, and I'll put it in a tweet as well. 15 stone, 13 pounds. I put it as IB. You know what I mean. 15 stone, 13 IB. Yeah. 7 hours sleep releases a chemical in your body that helps break down fat better. Okay, so, well, I'm insomniac, but so it's a bit erratic. But I'll try to do something that makes me sleep around 7 hours. That works. It works if I try and control that as well. 7 to 8 hours sleep. A few videos back, you said subscribers will get cool weapon skins. Is that true? Yes. So RSI subscribers on the website. Let's actually bring that up. That's a really good segue to this. Boop. No, that's the wrong one. Boop. That's still the wrong one. Boop. That's the right one. Desktop. So, RSI, CIG, Star Citizen, whatever you want to do, have voluntary subscriptions, which you can get on their website. They give you aesthetic things. They give you hangar flair. They give you REC. They give you a ship to fly each month, which then they take back. So there's lots of stuff that gives you little bonuses, but nothing game-breaking. If you've got the spare income, then consider subscribing. It helps pay towards their shows like ATV and RTV and that sort of stuff. But if you're looking for min-maxing or anything, there's no way you need to subscribe. Like, it doesn't give you anything like major. However, they are changing some of these rewards so that you're going to be getting weapon skins and stuff that you can use in game a lot more, rather than these little models and these little flare items. So these are the latest. Let me link this in the chat. And this is the latest, like, flare. The little tiny little models you can place in your hangar is the idea. They did welding, and there's like the Vandal ones they did last month. But where's the subscription page? I don't actually know where the subscription page is. Subscriptions. So what you get with the subscriptions, you get access to Jump Point, and there's 2 levels of subscription. There's a $10 one and a $20 one. You can see that they're more expensive here because I have to pay 20% VAT, value-added tax in the UK, because fuck you. You get first wave PTU access with both of them as well, so every time there's a new build of Star Citizen, so for example 3.1, there will be test builds starting from potentially next week's time, but towards the end of February you'll have an EVA CARTI test, and then it moves on to, once that's a little bit more stable, it will move on to first wave PTU, Public Test Universe, which is a test of the alpha before they make a live build, and subscribers get a first wave access to that. You get a ship of the month to fly every month, to fly in the Persistent Universe and Arena Commander. You get the flare that we just talked about, which is going to start becoming skins for weapons and stuff. And then you get some rec, so that you can spend it in Arena Commander, but also Star Marine very soon. You get Test Flight. What the fuck is Test Flight? With the more expensive Imperator subscription. You get 1 week to test fly newly flight-ready ships when they become available. Okay. Subscribers down, so a little section on the website that has subscriber-only information and a little chat room. You get early access to purchase event ticket stuff. With the more expensive one, you get special events that you can go to, though they're fucking expensive as well anyway. You get the vault, so you get to see cool images and things. You get to submit your questions for the town hall. You get some exclusive merch that you can purchase. If you spend 12 months or more, you get 5 to 10% off or 20% off or something, and that sort of stuff. So there is some cool stuff, but it's very voluntary. You don't need it at all. It's only for people that are really, really into that sort of stuff. I've only recently become a subscriber because I heard that they were going to be giving weapon skins. So I went, oh, I'll use that in the game. But that's the subscription page. My personal feeling on it, not worth subscribing yet, but up to the other people. You know, I'm not your dad. Why does the subscriber flare model go a plastic bag on their head? They don't even know that's dangerous. It didn't look very good, did it? The little helmet he's got, but maybe it's supposed to look a bit crappy. This is a picture of a razor exploding that was in the newsletter. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool, the screenshot. We got the newsletter as well. They congratulate the SpaceX team. So an IRL congratulation to SpaceX. They launched their real Heavy Falcon rocket, which is a reusable rocket which can take off and land, which makes space travel and colonization much more easy and likely to happen in our lifetimes. And with that as well, they released a Tesla Roadster into orbit around the Earth. This is real. This is real life. It is pretty cool. Elon Musk trying to promote Tesla and saving the world, I suppose, at the same time as trying to get us to colonize Mars. I love the fact that it's very, very likely that we'll have Mars starting to be colonized in our lifetimes. What a world we live in. What a time. What else have we got? Let me link this. I already have. We got lots of stuff on weapon balance this week. For people who are interested in that, we'll talk a little tiny bit about it. It's calling all devs. We'll talk about some of that in a minute. BoredGamer is on that 21st of April. If you're around Manchester, by Manchester Airport, it's a ticketed event. We're doing a Bar Citizen the day before, Bar Citizen after the event. But the event is a big fan fest meetup with loads of devs there, Aaron Roberts, Brian Chambers, me, lots of content creators, lots of fans, and lots of alcohol and events and cool exclusivity things. It should be pretty fucking awesome. Probably the biggest Star Citizen event in the UK at the moment. And yeah, it's cool, it's exciting. Join. Look at BoredGamer. Do it. Do it. The link it me. The link it as well. Yeah. Well, else? Oh, don't want to see my my important things. All right. What have we got? Let's move that off. See if there's any questions before we move on to some of the other things, because we'll talk about the roadmap. What I want to talk about today is a little bit of the roadmap stuff, because there's been some roadmap changes over the last couple of weeks, some of which are pretty cool. Let's see if there's any questions first. You want to ask any questions, guys? Hey, you're right, Kit. I won't be on for too long, and then we can play Black Watchman if you're up for it. I've just seen DC come online as well. Are hangars still going to be a part of the verse in terms of where we can go and from them to as original planned? So you're going to have physicalized hangars in the universe. They're literally building hangars at the moment with common hangar elements. You're going to see hangars on planets and that sort of stuff that are your hangar, or places that you can land on the new modular space stations and that sort of stuff. They are part physicalized of the verse, although there might be some clever ways that they stack hangars and things. So just bear that in mind. But there's a lot of space for them to do that now. Is it worth wasting time re-downloading it when I can't do a stable 1080-60? If that's what you need to be able to play the game, then yes, wait until at least 3.1, see if it's got a stable frame rate for you. You won't get stable 60 frames per second in the persistent universe. You will in like single player modes, in like Vandal Swarm and all that sort of jazz, but not in the persistent universe yet. The game is entirely unoptimized, and they're testing the terrible quantum interdiction, which should be called quantum disruption, because I don't know why it's called interdiction. Testing that is causing massive server problems and terrible frame rates, but they are stress testing it for reasons. Thank you, I do love my face. Thank you. There are BoredGamer t-shirts in Europe and the UK and the Americas and stuff as well. People who want my beautiful face, or kits, or Zen's, or DC's beautiful face. I run effectively a stream team now of BoredGamer people who play games with me regularly. They don't really play Star Citizen at the moment, but we will in the future once we have more of a game to play. But we play co-op games. Co-op and multiplayer games like PUBG and shit. I'm good today, thank you very much, Jimmy Scrambles. Very tired, but good. Not going to be online for too long. Well, I am, but I'm not going to be doing Star Citizen chattiness for too long. We're going to move on to playing some Black Watchman and some PUBG and stuff. Do you think CIG could do with a better PR department? Yes, 100%. I think one of the devs saying that they might not fix insurance bug until 3.1. Not a good look, telling new backers that they can't access their assets for 8 weeks. So they need someone that is invested in the community, that literally pushes from a PR point of view what the community wants. So that they vet things that are marketing based, like the Star Kitten, the referral campaign, the events that they do, the sales that they do. They look at them and they go, how would the community react to this? Or we need to test the waters of the community to see how they would react to this. So they could do polls and surveys and that sort of stuff. But their entire role would be to push and to poke for what the community wants, or at least give that view in meetings. Like, oh no, so selling land claims would make us look greedy. It's not something that we want to do yet, not without a full reason to sell them and some form of like deep dive mechanic document there that would make people go, oh, that's pretty cool, or oh, there needs to be something else there to make people make CIG not look greedy, because they're trying to fund their game. They're trying to raise as many millions as they can to put as many features and as much quality into their game as possible. So they're going to want money. Of course they're greedy in that respect, but when they look greedy, then they look like they're money grabbing, when it's not something that we're expecting from like a ship sell or something. It just makes them look bad, and they need to do something about that occasionally. So yes, 100% think they should have a PR person or a PR department or a marketing department that also have that aspect to it. Was Evocati used in the last days of they mentioned something in ATV. So Evocati did the 3.0.1 patch. 3.0.2 might be a thing. Obviously they're working on 3.1 at the moment, which is going to have loads and loads of optimization improvements. That's the core focus. Core combat, core mechanics, optimization, getting frame rates up there, getting performance back up there, making the game playable and fun at a core level. So lots of issues, obviously, with 3.0's release. They addressed a good amount of them in 3.0.1. Also added loads with that interdiction issue. Like, I'm not sure why they're testing interdiction like they are at the moment. And it's something they can change server-side without deploying a patch. So hopefully they'll sort that out in the near future. And we will talk about the changes to 3.1 in a minute, exactly what's going to be in 3.1 and the roadmap and how it's changed. Will we be able to play Star Citizen Squadron 42 on the new Horizon APU? I don't know how it's going to scale to them. I'll tell you probably, but you'll have to make concessions. What's BritCon going to be like? I was thinking of going. So basically, it's a mixture of fan meetup. So hotel, basically got the whole bottom floor of the hotel with bars and things there. There's a big like hall in there as well, lots of seats in. You can go around there. There'll be exhibits and exhibitors, so you'll have things like people showing off little cockpitty things that they can build for you, or joysticks. There's going to be Special Effect there, the charity that make bespoke gaming peripherals for children with disabilities, and there'll be organisations and stuff there peddling their wares and chatting to you about things. Big social events. There'll be competitions throughout the day, maybe Star Marine, maybe Arena Commander. We'll have to wait and see exactly what 3.1 brings before they confirm stuff like that. There'll be a couple of panels on stage as well with some devs, at least 2 I believe. Brian Chambers and Aaron Roberts are going to be there. If you want to go and ask people questions, you just mingle with them. There's going to be loads of other devs there which you can just literally go up and talk to. The day before, there's going to be a bar citizen. After the event, there's going to be a bar citizen, which is they're pretty good, pretty big social events. But it's just a day of socialising. There are some pretty cool things normally planned on stage, other than the panels. There'll be some like cool showings of some new videos or some exclusives typically, but I can't speak for exactly what's going on the day. Is there anything else that I basically know? So there's competitions, panels, exhibits, and then bar citizen at the very least. But they are occasionally we have cosplay competition as well, things like that. There'd be like short exclusive film competition. So people last year made some films for Brilliant Con. It's one of the highlights of my year. If you're around, I suggest you grab a ticket. Let me link it for you again. I'm happy to sell out and promote for that. I woke up this morning wanting to play the launch of Freezes and won't launch the game. Any cute why it was working yesterday just fine? No, I don't know. You can try reinstalling. I will link you. Yes, I saw on Reddit, which has some very good handy tips. You have a sense of what the flight model will eventually be like? No, not really. Not at the moment. There's more stuff I need to do. Yeah, so I don't actually know. I couldn't explain what I want to you from a flight model either, other than it to be fun and accessible. I don't mind there being a good skill ceiling at the top and a learning curve, but I want the ease of access so everyone can fly to a reasonable basic level straight away. You can have the really high, like pro pilots are really pro. That's fine. Are there plans for any car sharing services? Well, they've talked about it sort of like in the audio at Port Olisar at the moment, the ship share thing. I think there's going to be public transport. I suspect that you will be able to have org hangars where you can share ships, give permissions to certain people. I suspect you'll be able to do ship rentals and mission ships with contracts as well. So yeah, that's very much expected, I believe. Are they reworking the cargo capacity on the Taurus? See what happens with the when the rework comes out. Expect stuff like that to change metrics. The Taurus should have a good cargo capacity though. Are you hoping for any specific ship to be on sale on Valentine's Day? Not particularly. I'm quite happy to get all my ships in game that I haven't already bought. Occasionally there'll be a concept sale now that I go, oh my god, I want. Or I'll go, I want it because I definitely want to make content on it as soon as it becomes flyable for some reason. Something like the Reclaimer. Like, the Reclaimer comes out, I want to video the fuck out of it. Pardon my French. When is the next concept sale? Don't know. End of February, end of March. That's most likely. The Vulture is probably one of the ones that I do relatively soon, which is the small Drake salvage ship. We're also expecting Titan armor probably to go on concept sale this year. We might get the little spidery miners, we might get a Starlifter ship, we might get the Kraken civilian transport carrier. There's lots that they could do. We'll see more and more ground vehicles. I'd like to see a space station builder. I'd like to see some more ships to do with manufacturing and economy-based stuff. Not necessarily combat ships at all, really. Unless they do like proper E-war ships or like radar jammery ships and things like that. Rosen APU is something like a 1050 in terms of performance. Oh yeah, you'll be able to, with concessions, you'll be able to run Star Citizen with that. At the moment, concessions mean nothing when it forms like lowering your resolution and stuff. Because Star Citizen is so unoptimized, and there are so many server problems and client problems and things like that, that the game doesn't give a damn how powerful the system is. So even with interdiction running, even with my beastly PC, I'll still get like 5 to 10 frames, but more like closer to the 10 frames. But hey Bored, do you know if there's any other landing zones will be changed to accommodate the Reclaimer in 3.1? That's a good question. I know that Port Olisar is going to have landing pads made larger, like double to the size, some of them, for the Reclaimer to land on. Moons and planets and stuff, I think they're going to have like some of the areas are going to have to accommodate the Reclaimer, others won't. The Reclaimer is a big ship, but it's not a huge ship. So it's quite possible that it will have to dock with stations to the side in the future as well. So that's what the larger ships are going to have to do. They have to dock into the sides of things, and a lot of them won't be able to go to the ground on planets to land, or potentially to land and unload. That said, on like barren planets and unpopulated planets, you may be able to land those large ships if you can find a flat enough space. Although it might cost you a lot of fuel to get in and out of the orbit through the atmosphere. Do you think they will do in-game bar citizens eventually to have in-game events and when they do CitizenCon? Raise, I think that's a great idea actually. I think having simultaneous events that happen at the same time as CitizenCon, but also in-game, great idea. You can then stream it in-game, and then you can stream it out of game, if you see what I mean. So at a CitizenCon, I could be watching the in-game CitizenCon event, and they could also be watching the real-life event simultaneously, because the way they're doing their secondary viewpoint stuff and their enter-detection stuff, they can do that. Maybe this has been answered before. Do you expect any Valentine's Day sales? Yes, I do. 14th, expect a Valentine's Day sale. Not confirmed, but I'm expecting it. Nita Sarkeesian was at BioWare recently. Would you worry about Star Citizen if she manages to score her way into CIG? I think we'll be okay. Is it confirmed that they do a Drake salvage ship? Yes. It's the Vulture, it's called. Did you ask Aaron Roberts about the Retribution? I mean, I can ask him. I think it's going to be being built in Squadron 42 Episode 1, and then it will be in-game in Episode 2. Not sure if we're going to be on it, or if it gets destroyed in front of us, or if it's used in battles and we just turn up and watch it. I'm expecting it to be like the... whatever the fucking super ship was called. The human and alien hybrid super ship in Free Space 2. Can't remember what it was called. When do you believe CIG will implement game mechanics and the ships for healing? So the Cutlass Red and stuff in verse. Don't know, quite potentially this year. There's a few things on the schedule, like the Cutlass Red and Blue, that are not on the schedule. Medical mechanics as well. I am expecting to see some stuff this year on it, personally. I don't know for sure. Any idea when Eva Carty will start testing 3.1? Potentially next week, but more likely towards the end of February. Any workaround for these current CPU spikes? No, not really. Update your drivers as best you can. Make sure that Star Citizen's on an SSD. And then the persistent universe, they're testing that horrible interdiction mechanic at the moment. So it screws your CPU. Screws the game up. 3.1 is scheduled for the end of March, so it's safe to assume start of March. Just an assumption though. Do you think at some point CIG will have more freeform design ships getting away from the earthly military? Maybe. You can have alien ships, aren't you? You have some of the stuff, like the Origin stuff, looks a bit more, or less military and Earth-like, I suppose. Question, if I build a mining facility, will I be able to make a trade kiosk so other players can buy and sell goods? So almost certainly in some way. So for example, the Banu Merchantman is going to have shops inside, and that's going to be a player-owned ship. So yes, I very much expect that you can set up kiosks and trade stations and shops to be able to do that kind of gameplay on your land or wherever. Well, I say wherever, into other places as well. What is the minimum graphic card usable now to date? Don't know. I've had people running on 760s and stuff like that though. I want to see some more asymmetrical Mimitar style ships. Yeah, some of the Eve stuff will probably get looked at. And they take inspiration from every sci-fi game and genre. Yeah, the Vandal could fill that role. We'll see other aliens and things as well that have odd-looking ships. Does anyone know when we will get the Retaliator module for the base Retaliator? No, so I think like next year is when they're going to start focusing a lot more on getting the modular content out for a lot of the ships. So expect to see loads of modules next year, that sort of stuff. Right. I wanted to talk about some of the roadmap changes. So let's bring this up on the screen. We'll take some more questions in a second. Can we, how do I, is it control roll in, cool. So 3.1, we'll talk about 3.1 in detail, and then we'll talk about the changes more recently to the roadmap in general. So we're going to have the character customizer in 3.1. This is coming at the end of March to a live build. That's going to be the ability to change our face. Still only going to be men for the moment, but skin tone, certain type of amount of heads. I think it's like at least a 9. Hair type, hair color, eye color, that sort of jazz. They are improving helmets and making them better lighting wise. Cool. Boom. Locations. They're genuinely improving planet tech. This is planetary tech optimizations for the way that the actual look of the planets are generated to make sure there's no errors or anything, but also to make planets look better with better scattering of objects, the way it generates mountains and the general textures and all that sort of jazz. They are genuinely improving the way that planets and moons look. A new addition to 3.1 is, that's been moved from 3.2 to 3.1, is the server speaker mechanics for distress calls. Now, these are good because they allow you to go, oh, I'm being interdicted, or oh, I'm being attacked by a player, or oh, I need help. And you can put out a distress signal, which will allow other players to take a mission to come and get you and come and help you. And you'll appear as a quantum travel destination. And that also has the mechanic to transfer rewards to players. So hopefully that will also be able to be used to share Alpha UEC. But that's quite a big mechanic coming with 3.1. There's lots more coming with 3.2 with it, but it's the basic service beacons, which is good. Visor and HUD updates. Now these are really important because 3.0 and 3.01 had some issues with HUDs, UIs, and that sort of jazz. And this is there to update and fix them and make them a lot better, make them a lot more easy to see as well. I have a lot of. You can also get quite fuzzy text, like blurry, and if you upscale to 4K or DSR up to 4K and then go back down to 1080p or 1440p, then the text looks amazing and very sharp and very easy to read, but a lot of the time in some of the HUDs it's actually quite blurry. So they're also doing some balance and tuning. Basically they're redoing the core mechanics or focusing on the core mechanics of the game. So flight balance, fixing ESP, fixing IFCS, making sure that ships respond as they should, making sure weapon balance is where it should be, getting that cool combat and flight experience fun and enjoyable and easily accessible. They're also looking at the personal and vehicle manager apps, making them visually appealing, adding a little more bits and bobs to them so that you can change your character and understand what each of these items is doing to your character. Ship weapon balance as well, as I just stated. Ship damage, so there's going to be lots of ways that ships can die now and explode or be crippled, have death flourishes for NPCs and human ships, player ships. So they're updating the damage technology to allow for higher fidelity explosions, better damage shaders, and improved physics. But it is more than that as well. What else have we got in 3.1? Kabam! Oh, so this is actually a big one. Ship AI, which is on Cathera or whatever the hell they were using before, is all moving to subsumption now. Basically, this is going to allow for more efficient, better AI behavior and should lead to some performance gains as well. But it's going to be moving completely into subsumption now. And all of that AI, including the economy, the mission generation, the NPCs, all of that is controlled by that God AI, by subsumption, and it's going to be what server meshing uses to communicate with other stuff as well. But it's basically a big improvement and shift up for efficiency towards their final goal for AI. The Reclaimer, the Terrapin, the Razor, and the Cyclone are all in for 3.1. Weapons and items, so expect some more items and weapons than this, probably. But we're going to get distortion scattergun for ships, and we're going to get the R97 shotgun for the first-person shooters. And so these are some quite big improvements. We're going to get network bind culling. So that's going to give us some big network performance gains. Hopefully the persistent universe, other than the general optimization and performance optimizations they are doing, which is the other task, this should also give us some big gains. It basically looks at distances of things and goes, does it need to update those entities distance and range based? Is there too many entities around, which ones are important, and that sort of stuff, and removes them for the player and for the server and for the client if they are not necessary. The idea is that your CPU load will be significantly less, but also that on the server will be significantly less, allowing for better performance on servers, which is one of the major issues we're having. And it's one of the reasons they're probably testing the interdiction in the way that they are. Although I wish they wouldn't test it so much. I guess I want to be able to play on the weekend. I don't want 5 frames. I want to record at 5 frames, eh? But yeah, so that's what's happening in 3.1. Expect maybe some other little bits and bobs. Some extra stuff might get shifted over. They'll try and push some more stuff maybe from 3.2. And there's going to be loads of little things that aren't mentioned there, like stuff to do with improvements to missions and lots and lots of bug fixes and stuff. So more generally, there's been some changes to some of these over the last couple of weeks. We won't go over everything. We are getting FPS AI in 3.2, which is good. That's at the end of June. I'm trying to think, is there anything? There wasn't much changed in 3.2, was there? No. But in 3.3 and 3.4, there are some things changed from the original. We start to get planets in 3.3. We get object container streaming in 3.3, and that's at the end of September. These are big, important things. Ships. So core tech. So they've added this week to some of the scheduled stuff, environmental blending shaders, which is going to allow better shaders and blending between biomes that are different. So dirt, ice, sand, and rocks and things, the way they blend onto each other, the way they look natural on planets. Very important, obviously, with interchangeable changing biomes and the procedural assisted nature of Star Citizen. Network entity streaming. So this is going to work in conjunction with the container object container streaming that's coming in 3.3, allowing for significantly better multiplayer performance. They want hundreds of people on each server before server meshing takes place. And we'll talk about server meshing in a second because it is in 3.4. Is there anything else? Voice over IP and face over IP is coming in 3.3 as well. So lots of other things. Please check out my roadmaps for more details. I'm just talking more about the changes to the later patches at the moment. Female characters in 3.4, that'll make a lot of people happy. That should also come with all the character customization for females. And with each of these patches, expect more flesh on the bones of the previous mechanics. So with the character customizer, expect more and more and more from patch to patch to patch as well. It's just not listed in the schedule because otherwise the schedules will be huge. Also, any problems they identify will be sorted. So Arc Corp is coming in 3.4. Obviously, we had Hurston in 3.3, and they're getting their associated moons when they come out. But I'm assuming we're getting Area 18 as well as Area 17. Probably when 3.0 comes out, fully integrated. Get land claims as well, and mechanics for land claims. They might just be missions, but we might be able to build on them as well. Have to wait and see. Better planetary landing stuff, so the AI will be able to land on planets and provide reinforcements and do stuff on the ground from the interchangeable from coming from space to going to ground, rather than just spawning on the ground, if you see what I mean. Going a load of ships as well. Core tech, but this is what they've added. So a procedural city rendering, kind of performance increases and improvements for that. They foresee that they need more and more and more kind of performance optimizations for that massive city planet rendering. So that's a good shout, because once they release it in 3.3, they'll go, well, that needs to be optimized almost certainly. They also make it look better at ranges and stuff like that as well. They're generally improving space scenery to make use of all the other tech in 3.4 as well. So they're working on gas tech throughout the year. They're working on all these the way objects move and the way asteroids and debris move. So they're making sure that's all added to the game to make it look better. Parallel network jobs, general increasing multi-threading on the servers, just for general network performance improvements, which we'll be getting throughout the year anyway. But the major one for this year, probably actually, that they added is server meshing. Now, I wasn't sure they were going to start on this until 2019, but they're starting it in 2018, which is great. So it's the first iteration of server meshing, and with the system, individual servers would be responsible for different locations within the solar system. When operational, players and entities should experience seamless transitions between servers during quantum travel. Now, I also believe that object containers individually could technically be run by a single server. So they could make a single planet or a single moon or part of that planet or part of that moon run by an individual server or multiple servers if they break it down into more object containers. That is what is exciting. That is what is going to let massive amounts of players, if not every player, play on the same server. That's exciting. Or same shard, should I say, because it's going to be run by multiple servers. And that's basically it. That's what I wanted to talk about there. Feel free to ask any questions you want about the roadmap or the Star Citizens. Let me go back up here. Oh my god, there's lots of questions. Okay, let's start here. Oh, we answered them. Oh, we answered them. So I've got Robocop in my head because I do Robocat on I do Robocat on Zin and Kit streams to annoy them. Do you know if they're still planning on making it possible to buy ships and insurance with in-game money in 3.1? There's a potential to have purchasable ships and more items in 3.1, but they've said it may get pushed back, ship purchases with Alpha UEC to 3.2. So bear that in mind. 3.2 is getting a big economy pass on it as well, so you'll see lots of items, lots of weapons, lots of ships and that sort of stuff go into the game then at the latest. They need to get a different type of kiosk and different type of UI, which is more trade and cargo-y and more based for ship purchases and that sort of stuff in the game for that as well. That's why it's more likely to be 3.2 now. I'm going to buy so many spaceships. Thank you very much. Oh, Johnny Gluebag, I love you. My face loves you. My egghead loves you. Thank you very much for the donation. Very much appreciated. I'm inappropriately worrying this month just because my videos and the amount of time I've got dedicated to streaming and YouTube's this month's a bit crappy because of my internet being broken last week and my room being done. So thank you very much appreciated. I love your face. We will do, I've been offered a couple of ships for giveaways for the stream as well, which we will give away at some point. I need to get a bot that takes YouTube and Twitch views equally when people enter it, if you see what I mean, so they don't have to move around. Do you think you are my mother? Well, you're not my dad. Different sizes for players will also be great. So at least in the short to medium term, there's just going to be one size of player for men and women. So men and women will be different sizes, but there's not going to be changeable sizes of them. So do you see what I mean? So one size for men, one size for women. That's the female player model, that's the male player model. And then you get to customize their face and the way they look, but you don't get to change their body size. That might change in the future, but that's what they're looking at the moment. The lack of cutlass variants on the roadmap is disappointing. So there are definitely things on that roadmap that are going to be coming out, but they are not on there for this year. So expect to see more than they've shown us. For some reason, they're not scheduling everything on there. I do expect to very likely to see the cutlass variants this year. So I guess now though I'd be happy with distress beacons. Oh my god, yeah. So I'm very happy with the distress beacons. I think they're pretty cool. I want to, as soon as you can have that trading LVC between players in the game, you can have some missions where players can help each other. You can share that, so you can have co-op missions done better. And there's some things that we actually want to buy, like ships, LVC ships. Then there's some solid gameplay loops there. Considering the length of development so far, would you say that with a possible release date in the next few years, that we are in the home stretch? It's not. I don't really know. It's like not really the home stretch. No, I mean once you've released a beta, I think you're in the home stretch, aren't you? And we're probably not going to see a beta for until like mid 2020. Will we get robot limbs? They've discussed them. I believe that is the plan still. They might be aesthetic. They might be replacements for if you lose them in the game and you respawn with a new life. You lost one of your lives, but now you've got a robot leg. I have Terrapin, and are they adding any gameplay in 3.0 to utilise its role in the verse? Scanning is probably coming this year. I'm pretty sure of it. They haven't scheduled it, so I don't know. The scanning and exploration mechanics are really what the Terrapin is going to be used for. So if scanning starts to appear in 3.1, yeah. If not, then it's going to be really when scanning and the utility items start to come out. Thanks, Bored. Out times are so different. Whenever I can't sleep in the mornings, I look at my phone and see. Thank you. I appreciate that, Jack. Much appreciated. I like to think my dulcet tones will put anyone to sleep. CIG has built the stadium. Now we have to build the game and the teams to play. That's true. Maybe they should have made Satterball in the correct size, eh? I'm still waiting for my food truck ship. That might be a thing in the future. If people need to eat. Okay, so if they do push beyond just very light survival mechanics, or maybe they have food and drink as buffs, and then they have the creation of food, then food trucks might not be such a stupid idea. I'm quite tabby at the moment. It's an Assassin's Creed t-shirt that I got with a loot crate. It's my favourite t-shirt, oddly, just for the way it like fits me and like the quality it is. I need to get like my merch done in a similar quality. We need an egg-shaped ship, and we should name it Bored. Thanks. Like Welcome Mindy. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Is the Hull C getting out in 3.1? No. It's not scheduled for this year currently. So the Hull C has some problems with its folding mechanics. So it literally goes just kind of when it hasn't got any cargo in it, it can collapse upon itself, so it can land on flats more easily and stations more easily and get repaired and refueled and stuff. And those mechanics of it expanding and contracting are complicated. They've kind of built most of it out. It's just there's performance issues and other problems and issues with it. So if they get it fixed and working, you'll see it this year. If they don't, it'll be next year. No, it looks very Starfleet-y, doesn't it? Especially when you can just see one of the wings. I like it. I think it's cool. Very Julian Bashir. Have we got any other questions at the moment? Everyone's doing all right. Reclaimer 600i, I know, right? Getting them all this year. 600i in 3.2, Reclaimer in 3.1. Reclaimer's probably one of my favourite things that's happening in the near future. What happens when you do a crime? You'll be hunted down by police. Players can shoot you freely. In the short term. You won't be able to land at the ATC zones, the air traffic control, like Port Olisar and stuff, without getting shot at. You might not even be able to officially land there. Comores and some other stations will shoot at you. Police will come after you. You might get made into a player mission and hunt you down. That's all in the short term. Longer term, it's going to be a bit more complex. I am going to an office tour on the 9th of March, so anyone that's got questions for the devs or for Aaron, as I'm very likely having an exclusive interview with him, please chuck them in the Discord questions for Bored. That will help me a lot. I've heard if you want to buy a ship that is not on sale, you can contract customer services and buy it. Is that right? Not to my knowledge. They would make that quite obvious, I think, if that was true. And I'm pretty sure it's not. You have to wait for the sales. I'd be able to get them all in game, so... I think if you want to get like one of the bigger packages, like the stupidly expensive $1,000 plus packages, then you can contact customer service for them. You know anything about the Genesis Starliner? Oh, so it's my mate Zen's favourite ship. Yeah, it's not needed for Squadron 42 as far as I'm aware. It's a great idea because it will allow players to have their own little businesses. You'll be able to fly public transport. There'll probably be NPC ones flying around all the time from locations, so that players can move around without having their own ship from stations to planets and stuff. We don't know much. We don't really know anything more about it since its concept phase, to be honest. But I do love the idea of it. I do love the idea that it is a passenger carrier. When do you think we will see attachments for FPS weapons? So I'm thinking we're actually going to get them for 3.2. I think we'll see some preludes to that in 3.1 with the updated thingamajigamabob, the updated PMA and UIs. And I think what I genuinely see weapon attachments probably in 3.2, but I might be totally out of the fucking park with that one. I'm not even sure if that's a saying. Do you think that with better armor they will give more strength, like exosuits for better takedowns? Interesting. I don't know. So you might be able to get different armor and attachments and stuff on your armor to allow you to traverse terrain quicker or more easily, or better jetpacky things to allow you to go for EVA better. I'm not sure if you'll get better takedowns. Potentially you could do more damage with a melee weapon. I don't like the idea of player-on-player takedowns unless you're attacking a player that hasn't got a weapon out. If he hasn't got a weapon out and you attack him from behind, I think a takedown is more than a fine. However, I think once a weapon's out, I worry too much about players hitting you in like a side box with a takedown when you're shooting them and they just take you down. And you're like, what? It'd be really annoying. How long until we can kill SAMWAMs? They did say that they would be killable. Pretty much everything in the verse will be killable in some way. I expect that might not be true of certain mission givers or that sort of stuff in the short term. But animals and things, they should be killable. They should be harvestable. Reasons to kill them, I suppose. So I don't know. We'll probably start to get some fauna this year as well. Some animals. But I don't know much about when we're going to be able to actually hunt sandworms. Probably 2020, to be honest. Hi Bored, do you think there will be more points of interest like the Javelin in 3.1? Yeah, I mean that's exactly the sort of thing that will get added. More points of interest, more Easter eggs, more little missions, more outposts, more space stations, stuff like that. They'll start to come in from patch to patch. Every patch you'll probably see updates to them. Because they can just add more things in. They can do more variety to missions, add little extra bits to missions, little modules onto them. Do we have any idea when the 300 rework is happening? Yeah, so the 300 series of ships. Let me open this up for you. Boop, 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 boop. I'm not sure I'm making a boop 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 sound. So 3.4, so by the end of the year is the plan for 300 series rework. 300i and variants into the game. So these things, although this is for the end of December, they could get pushed forward, as we saw with service beacons. They could get pushed back as well, so bear that in mind. Do you think we will see an Idris in the PE before Squadron comes out? I think that there's the potential there. The problem is we don't know when Squadron 42 episode 1's coming out. We don't know. So, let me give a more gut feeling response to this actually, because I don't know, but network entity streaming, object container streaming, these are things, and general optimizations, these are things that are needed to have those capital ships in the persistent universe. So not before 3.3. 3.3 could potentially be the gateway where we could start to see capital ships. So maybe in 3.3 onwards. Probably not until next year, but the potential is that we could see capital ships sooner than we think. Or sooner than... as soon as I think. I don't know, fucking know, do I? But that's the gateway for them. They need to be split into object containers. They need to be have their network code there. Two of them need to be supporting, fighting each other in a persistent universe, not in a enclosed LAN environment, which is what we saw in 2017's demo at Gamescom. So actually, let's put that. Let me put that one on. Media source. Gamescom. This isn't. I'm not sure. I don't think this is my cut of it. This is the actual just high quality standard one. What do you think about the new player experience? Some get hammered in AC and leave salty. Maybe at the moment, yeah. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, there's no real learning curve if you went straight into PvP. You need to do like the Vandal Swarm and Pirate Swarm a bit first. You need to learn how to fly, because otherwise you're just fighting against good pilots or players that know the controls. And at the moment, it's hard for everyone to fly. Like, it must be hell for a new player to fly with the ESP and the IFCS kind of broken in an old meta. I think if people are trying to have a sit-down play game, they buy Sky Citizen thinking it's a ready, polished game now, they're going to be salty. They're going to be really salty. When do I think the Idris M will come out? Probably with the release of Squadron 42. That's the sort of thing, like the Idris P, probably before. The Idris M, maybe the Idris M will be ready. The Idris P won't be ready. I don't know. Do you think I'll be able to have pets on my ship, other than fish in a tank? Pets was a stretch goal. It's one of the last stretch goals. So there will be pets in the game. We're just not sure how they're going to work. Very likely you'll be able to bring animals as cargo. So I don't see why you wouldn't be able to have a pet on a ship. You'll probably be able to insure your pets as well, so they don't die when your ship explodes. Do you think we'll start spawning planetside this year? Yes. I think we'll get more and more persistence from each patch. 3.1 should hopefully give us the persistence of being able to log out and in our ships, and being able to log in and out and certain locations planetside and actually just spawn there. I'd like it if it also gave us the just be able to log in and out anywhere, but we'll have to wait and see exactly what's happening with that. Any thought on character maintenance, food, water, exercise, medicine? They've talked about light survival mechanics, potentially having to eat and drink, and potentially having to wash yourself, otherwise people look at you and go, dude, you smell. But we don't know much on that. I'm very pro light survival mechanics, but nothing heavy at all. I don't really want to have to eat and drink. I don't mind if it's really light buffs and debuffs. Yeah, so the 600 eyes coming out in 3.2. Thank you very much, Captain Rockbart. Captain Rockbart. Thank you. I appreciate the sub a little bit. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate all the love. Major patches are every quarter, but how often are minor fixes? As and when. They have no schedules that we see for minor fixes. They are literally, they work on them, they work to a level that they want. They'll probably work from week to week, where they go, we've got a load of fixes now, let's release a minor patch for it. Hotfix patches are different for them from minor patches. So hotfixes can be done server side without any client deployment. So if they want to change the interdiction mechanics, whether they go, let's turn it off, let's reduce the amount that it's happening, let's reduce or change what ships are happening, and what types of missions spawn and that sort of stuff. That's all server side. That can be hotfixed. That's when they use the term hotfix. Minor patches are client-side patches, which may have fixes in, may have extra content in, may have ships in, whatever, but they're client-side. And they will happen as and when they do, sort of thing. We don't have a knowledge of a schedule for them, but it's expected that from week to week they do a review and they go, well, let's try and push out a build this week with all those fixes in as a minor patch, if enough minor fixes are there, or if there's a big enough issue that they need to look at. Any news on the X1? No, but I do expect to see it this year. I didn't see it on the roadmap either. How do you take a dump in the Cutlass Black? You just poo wherever you want and then open the doors because it takes everything out, mate. You could put a little bit of paper down, couldn't you? Just to make sure. I hope they make the survival crap optional. I suspect it. I mean, I'm pretty cool with having, like, I like the idea of NPCs wanting you to have facilities for them. So food, drink, water, entertainment, bedrooms, crappers, all that sort of stuff. And if they don't have that, then they just cost more to rent. They just go, well, yeah, that's cool, but my hiring fee is going to be more because I need to bring all this other stuff onto me. I need to get my own food and things like that. Do you think they will ever release cloak generators that will make your ship invisible? No. They might release things that cause interference to scanners and radars, or different types of countermeasure, but you won't get cloaking generators. You might get stuff that suppresses your EMP and IR, your EM and IR signals and stuff like that, or paint. And things that make you harder to see, but they're not going to have cloaks. Why do they enlarge every ship they rework? Good question. So it's typically only older ships, Captain Robot. So basically when they first made their metrics for their ships, they had a different way of building them, and they did their interiors halfway through the process. So they do the exterior, they look at the ship and everything, and then they start building the interiors and the interior rooms out, and they go, oh, we need space, more space between the rooms, or we need space so that the components can go here, and we need the armor here, and we need some gubbins in between, and we need cabling wired here, and that sort of stuff. So what happened was they had these exteriors of the ships, but the interiors were too big for them, so they had to then scale the ships upwards. So that's why with the older ships up until mid to end 2015, all of those ships that have been concepted have grown in size. But that shouldn't happen anymore. Their process is now different for it. They concept a ship and then block out the interior and then build the exterior onto it. Yes, I can raise my volume a little bit. Apologies. Is that raised? Yeah, I think it is. Apologies. The room's acoustics are a bit odd, but it's going to be so good when it's done. So hopefully by next Tuesday, so by Tuesday the 3rd, by Tuesday the 20th, I'm hoping my room is fully decorated. And soundproofed, potentially, by then. Or partly soundproofed, at least. What cool features would you like to see to the coming game? A release date. I'm going to buy so many. So buggy. Spaceships. Oh my god. Thank you very much, a lot, Jack.
Bored. I struggle with depression too, but I found Star Citizen and met the board, and now it gives me something to look forward to and not as much depression. Thanks for what you're doing.
I very much appreciate that, and I mean, I wouldn't hold myself in any form of high esteem. I think that's a road to depression. But I'm glad that me talking about depression or anxiety can make people more relate to it and know you're not alone. You're not alone with depression and anxiety, and it's fucking shit a lot of the time. And it's very personal to you. It's going to be very specific to you, exactly what upsets you, what maybe nothing upsets you in particular, it's just random, which is one of the shittier types. But I'm sorry that you suffer from that. Feel free to talk to me about it anytime you want, even if it's on Discord or whatever. I'll reply when I can, but I know it's a shitty thing. I'm sorry that you have to go through it, bro. Thank you very much for the donation. I do appreciate that a lot. People aren't alone. Life's a bit crappy sometimes. Depression is erratic and just happens. I'm managing so much more than I was 2 years ago. Like this time a year ago, I was awful. This time 2 years ago was pretty damn bad. And I'm just a million times better, a million times more able to work out what's something I should worry about, should be anxious about, and stuff that I shouldn't. I'm not so panicky when like the door or the phone goes. I can prioritize things. I don't worry obsessively about everything constantly anymore. I'm a lot better. I look like I haven't slept much because I haven't. I'm still an insomniac, and I need to lose some weight. I gained like 2.5 stone when I was depressed over the last 2 years, which is something that I will lose. I'm literally starting from today properly. I did start to get fit a little bit. I could do a reasonable amount of exercise every day, but I need to eat better. I need to eat more sensibly as well. So we're going to track my weight. I love you guys. Thank you. Appreciate it. I've got a bit off topic there. What other cool features would I like to see coming to the game? So for me, I love multiplayer games with an economy, and I want to be able to play with my mates, not just the community, because I do fucking love you guys, not just the Discord, but my mates Zin, DC, Zen, Kit. I want them to be interested in the game, so I need a stable game that has enough co-op features and enough hooks for them to play, and them to want to play with me constantly. I like doing stuff solo, and I like doing stuff in groups when people are home from work together, or whatever, so it just needs to have lots of elements coming together. They need to be able to do at least, 75% of what they said they're going to do, and then I'll be pretty happy. It's going to at least less shallow Elite Dangerous, with the first-person shooter elements as well, a solid economy that's slightly akin to Eve's, but maybe we have less of an impact on. I'd like, if I had a choice of mechanics that I could put in without it fucking up development, I'd like to have manufacturing and the creation of items in there as well, so I could build munitions, I could potentially build ships or parts of ships. I like the idea of manufacturing. It'd be really expensive and hard, and you'd have to have like a big base set up to it, but I love that idea. So do you think the hammerhead will increase in size? No, I don't. I think the hammerhead's been built to the new metrics, so it won't increase in size. Considering the distance, a sailing ship would be the worst idea. When will the next patch / hotfix come? So they can hotfix at any time. They can do a minor patch at any time. It could come this week, sort of thing. We don't know. I'm hoping that we see a 3.0.2 patch coming out. This is my hope. Within the next week or two, with the ESP and IFCS fixes that they've got currently with QA test running. So that is major bugs that the game currently has that a patch would make it so much more accessible and fun to play again. Also, I hope they hotfix out the constant quantum interdiction. I understand why they're doing it, but they're doing it too much. Do you think we'll get an actual bar at Olisar when it becomes a truck stop? Yeah, I think there'll be a social area, and that will be for NPCs and stuff like that as well, to do quests with and to socialise. I think that will be one of the main areas, a lobby or a bar or that sort of thing. My number one go-to ship at the moment is the Sabre where possible. I quite like the Sabre Raven if someone's trolled me, because I just turn up and stun-lock them until they fuck off. How awesome would it be to be a loan shark and stuff? And you might be able to do something like that. We'll have to see exactly how they want the economy and the UEC stuff to work. I like the idea of lending UEC out to people, as long as the game enforces me getting my money back. Ship-to-ship comms. Yeah, that's going to be a thing. That's going to be a thing with the Mobi-Glass. You're going to be able to do render to texture, literally talk to another player, and we're going to be able to do it with your ships as well. They're building that into the game. That will probably be fully seen this year, probably with FOIP coming in 3.3. Yeah, so Elite Dangerous economy isn't really my cup of tea. Eves is, though. I fucking love Eves. Will the eventual rework be in 3.1? No, I believe it's a 3.2. Yeah, so the Mustang update and the Avenger rework are in 3.2 in June. Will there be missions which are co-op? Yes, I'm going to start to see them, potentially with 3.1 now, because they've got the distress beacons coming in 3.1, which will allow us to share our VVC. So we're going to start to see more and more of that kind of content and gameplay this year. What is your opinion about gimbaled weapon size decrease? I think it's fine as long as they balance it right. We need to see how they evolve the flight model. We need to see how they change weapons. They are changing quite possibly the default loadouts for some of the ships. They're changing some of the way that ships weapons pair. The way that they currently balance stuff as well is not going to be the same sort of way they balance stuff in the future. So I'm okay with it because it's too early to start balancing, even though they are. But I suppose they need some form of metrics and they need some form of balance, so they do need to balance. But you know what I mean? Like, it's going to be so different in the future. Any thoughts on what role the next concept ship might be? Probably the mini salvage ship, the Drake Vulture salvage ship. Game can't force your money back. That's where the shark part comes in. Yeah, that's a good point. Send people to go in and force contracts for you. There were like 8 to 9 pilots floating around Olisar today at the server I was on. They just stayed outside the gun range, so you're guaranteed an interdiction right out of the station. Yeah, I mean, the interdiction is just broken at the moment. They're stress testing servers, they're stress testing a lot of stuff, and their surveys up about it at the moment as well. You can see that they're testing things. What I'd like, actually, is on the launcher or in-game, before you click on the PU, it has a little pop-out window in red text just saying, we're testing this. This is the survey that you can take to this. Be aware that these are a couple of the major issues. Don't do this, and we are testing interdiction. So if you'd like to help with that, that'd be great. But you're going to see these decreases in performance or whatever. Just so I know what I can get involved with and what I can expect from that particular day on the PU. I think it would be a great idea. Gets them a lot more metrics quicker as well, because people go, oh, there's a survey I can take, rather than having to go through Spectrum. Yeah, 1 to 2 interdictions per play session is fine. Not 3 per quantum travel, yeah, I totally agree. I think what I don't understand about the current game is there's no general commune area. So there are bars and things and commune areas, but there's no reason to hang out in them. There will be in the future. We need those gameplay hooks and reasons to stay in those areas. So if they do have a small amount of time for loading, unloading cargo, or waiting for things, or effectively lobbies where you meet friends, or there's NPCs that you can talk to there, and reasons for being in those social areas, then people will hang out in them. So service beacons move to 3.1. Do the players pay you for picking them up? Also, what's to stop people killing you if the rep going to keep with the player when they log off? So reputations are now more and more persistent. So you'll find that you'll find that reputations are persistent now, and they fixed that in 3.0.1. But you're going to have more and more of those reputations, more and more things being more and more persistent from patch to patch. So it's most likely that your reputation from killing someone from 3.1 onwards, and pretty much your mission reputation and everything else should be persistent, or reset every so often, but relatively persistent. In the short term, there's not much to stop you killing people if you wanted to, but you want the UEC, don't you? So you get rewarded once you complete the contract. If you kill them, you won't complete the contract. I suppose you could complete the contract and then kill them, but maybe they need to arrive safe somewhere before. Rover Grand Prix on yellow. We could do some races and stuff. Set up some stuff in the future. Are there good setups for using gimbals with a joystick HOTAS? Not that I'm aware of, not solid gimbal setups and things. You can get like thumbsticks and stuff attached to them. Do you think that exploring in a large ship using NPC crew is a viable option? I think it will be a viable option, yes. I think it would be funner to have at least one other human crewman on your ship. If they allowed the agent smithing mechanic where your friends can jump in and literally possess one of your NPC crewmen, that would be cool, because that would make it a lot easier to do some cool exploration with your mates, that some of them are, you know, have odd working hours or whatever, or you have better working hours and you can be playing and they can't always be there, but they can then jump into your crewman to explore some cool stuff. But yeah, I think exploring a large ship with an NPC crew will be viable. Tech/ship power question. I've experienced a no power prompt while travelling in my Aegis Titan. This makes quantum jumps impossible for me. It's the way to fix it. Turn off your flight ready and then turn it back on, or turn off your engine back on and off. I think that fixes it. Any thoughts on our hangars when they'll be implemented in the PU? We're going to start to see them. in the game, probably from 3.3 onwards, so September. They are working on the common hangar elements for the game and physicalized hangars for us. We will get to choose where we spawn and where we place our hangars in the game from the ship packages that we have once the game goes live. You might be able to do it in the beta as well, but they'll be set and it'll be once you go live. Hello, hello! Love your face. You're right, Stormfire, mate. Long time no see, bro. We'll have to have a catch up at some point. I do appreciate all the love and the donations and the subs and the support and the views and the sharing and everything. It's very humbling. Thank you. With 3.1 around the bend, as we know, the PTU of 3.1 will come out first. Will the Reclaimer be added to the PTU? Probably be added to the PTU for testing. When will we have Planetary AI combat? Good question. It's actually on the schedule. I think that it's coming in 3.2, isn't it? Is it 3.3? Might be 3.3. AI. So in 3.2, the plan is to have FPS AI combat. So that's NPCs on the ground, NPCs on stations, NPCs defending their ships inside. And then we're going to have, well, maybe not the defensive combat of defending their ships properly, because 3.3 is going to have full defensive combat from AI to defend their ships from borders. We're also going to see like location security. So the idea is they'll remove all the armistice zones and have turrets and security guards walking around that will enforce laws based on whatever the law of the area is. Do they see you pull a weapon, they shoot you, or they try and stun you, or whatever. In 3.2 again, you're going to see better AI flight and mechanics, and then be a bit more smarter. And then you'll see in 3.4 the NPCs not just spawning on planets, but the ability for them to fly ships in, land, and those ships to be the reason they get their reinforcements. They'll be able to fight on planet surfaces without spawning in, and they'll be able to have combined arms fights and that sort of stuff. I believe that's the idea. When will the system be fully fleshed out for us, and what system do you think will be next? So we'll see the Saturn system fully fleshed out to a good level in 2019. We'll have 3/4 of the system basically by the end of this year. Next system, probably be the Odin system or the Lear system most likely. The Squadron 42 ones they can chuck in the game pretty easily because they're mostly done. And then they can build out loads of systems actually pretty quickly once Stanton's fully done. Do you think having a player with a crime stat on board your ship will give you a crime stat as well? If they got that crime stat while they're on your ship, potentially, and there's going to be like shared aggression, so if they do a crime while you're in a party with them while they're on your ship, you'll probably all get that crime stat, maybe to a lesser degree, maybe, depends what they did. I don't think just having a guy on board your ship with a crime stat will give you a criminal rating. It might say, however, if you try and get someone that's a high-level criminal or whatever into a party with you on for a mission, it will say, this guy has a really high crime stat. This will make you a criminal because you are actively seen to be assisting him. Are you sure you want him in your party? You might get those kind of warnings, so be aware of that. Well, is it true that with every game package over and above your original, you get one NPC that is yours? We don't know that for sure. We don't know that for sure. We don't know exactly what they're going to do with the getting NPCs and getting the character slot mechanics. Every ship package, I believe, comes with a hangar of some type, though, that you'll probably be able to place in the verse. Hopefully we will not have to wait for 3.1 to fix the claim bug. I'm hoping they release the 3.0.2 mini patch with the ESP fixes, with the IFCS fixes, and with the insurance claim fixes. If they're not server-side. If they're server-side, they can just hotfix them. I wouldn't ever go out into a multi-crew ship without another shipmate. Imagine if you disconnect from the game while you're in battle. Yeah, but hopefully the NPCs would defend you. I know what you mean, though. Like, there is a worry there, isn't there? Do you think I'll be able to stream... I think people will mute you probably quite quickly if you're loud or streaming music and stuff in voice over IP. Bored, has CIG mentioned anything about fixing the voice attack issues not fully working in the game due to the new system? It's probably worth talking to the HCS voice packs and voice attack guys about that. I'm not aware of anything they've said recently with a voice attack. We should probably ask it in a calling all devs though, shouldn't we? We should try and get that answered, because that's something that people are going to be interested in. When do you think they will add the system where you can lock people out of rooms in your ship, like the bridge doors, if you pick up random people so they stay in the cargo room, etc.? So basically what you're looking for is a permission system and a locking system. You can lock doors now. That will probably get more and more fleshed out, 3.1, 3.2. Permission system, probably coming this year, to allow certain people certain amounts of access to your ship, certain consoles, certain systems, and others not. And that will probably have the ability to lock doors properly there, and the ability to hack around them or blow them up properly, or go around into vents and things. So probably this year at some point, don't know when. Do I know if they get out of alpha this year? Yes, they will not get out of alpha this year. Do you know in what update / build character customization is scheduled or featured? Yeah, 3.1 coming at the end of March. It's really simple character customization. You can just do your eyes, your face, your skin tone, your hair style and hair colour. And then it'll get more and more. And then you get women's in 3.4 to be able to customise and actually be. Right. I think. Let's see if any of my other board gamers are streaming. Because I'm going to go and grab a drink. And then I'm going to... What I said, meth head there. It's mental health. It's one of the groups I'm part of. It's like, what? Meth head? Kita Suneru. Get streaming.
No, I fucking picked.
Cool. Kit's online. Some of the others are online. We're gonna go host them in a second. Shit, they're all online. You've got Deathcore, you've got Zin, you've got Kit. Cool. So this is my so this is what BoredGamer is evolving into. It is going to be mostly Star Citizen, but I also, for the streams and for a little bit of the channel and for the second channel, I want to do other games as well. So they're all going to be like co-op and multiplayer games, and lots of multiplayer Star Citizen as well, lots of co-op Star Citizen, but I want to do some other games as well, like I want to look at Anthem in the future. I like Rust. I like playing that into small, medium groups. I want to get community involved with a load of these other games. I enjoy PUBG, I enjoy The Division, stuff like that. So I want to be playing these games, and my mates, who I play games with every day, they all stream now. So this is the streaming group. It's the BoredGamer streaming group. And it's me, Zin, Deathcore, G, Silent Zen. All play games together. If you see any of them streaming, it's very likely I'm on their stream as well. I'm chatting, and we just talk. And you feel free to ask questions. We're all pretty chill. Do you expect a sale on Valentine's Day? Yes, I do. I don't know exactly what ships will be on sale. Probably similar to what they had last year as well. So ships that you can, little packages that you can gift to someone else. Potentially ships that are two-person flyable. I think personally, if you commit a crime and it's not seen by anyone on camera, you shouldn't receive a crime stat. Yeah, I totally agree. If it's not detectable, if you're not detected, if you've taken the measures to not be seen, or you've turned off security equipment that can track it or whatever, then you shouldn't be getting a crime stat, and that's the intention as well. You're going to be able to do clever assassinations and things. Will it be 3.2 or 3.3 for buying out of UEC ships? The plan is 3.2, I believe. That's the most likely patch that it will be in, so end of June. It's potentially we could have it 3.1, but it's more unlikely now. It was scheduled for that, but I will check out Beyond Good and Evil 2. If it's cool, I'm happy to play it and happy to look at it. There's Desolate as well, and there's a load of games coming out pretty soon or have just come out that I want to look at. You think with Beacons coming out sooner than expected, there is hope for bounty hunting this year? Yes. We'll see bounty hunting missions this year. We just might not see proper player bounty hunting. What is likely to happen is we'll get bounty hunting missions which are NPC based, proper ones, and then we'll probably have the service beacon or contract mechanics to be able to place bounties on other players' heads this year. and then just enforced if you kill them. Really simple stuff like that they flash out later. Does the crime stat ever reduce at the moment? I don't know in the latest patch in 3.0.1. I don't actually know. You just log out for a while and come back in. Oh no, you can't anymore. I don't know. I think you might only be able to hack it down. Or if you die in certain situations. I'll check it out. I'll check it out exactly how it works because I don't know anymore. BoredGamer, I got a foot of snow last weekend. Do you want some sent your way? Yes! Huku. Thank you, I'd appreciate the snow. 3.1 alive? I don't know what that means. It is planning to come in end of March, hopefully with a either CAR-T test within the next couple of weeks. Love your face, guys. Thank you very much for the love. We shall go and host one of these guys. But please, just go and view one of these guys because I'll be on the chat any second. I'm gonna go host Tin. Hopefully she appreciates it. Right. No. Kit. Zin. Yeah. No. Let's go there. There's a couple more questions before I go. So start the raid. But thank you for the love, guys. It's very much appreciated. Yes, I will have a good one. No worries. That's all no. Oh, what am I doing? What am I doing, lads and ladettes? /raid. No, that's not me. God damn it. BoredGamer, it's not me. It's BoredGamer UK in it. /raid. Continue for the win. Boom. There we go. There we go. Can I improve my performance? Yes. I actually have some performance guides. Redacted TV performance guide. There you go, buddy. Have a look at that. There's a few performance guides there that I've written. I need to update it 3.0.1 to be honest. Yeah, you can get your criminal level hack down at Olistar. Thank you very much for the love, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you in a second. I'll be on these channels now. You'll be able to listen to me. Love, 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 love. Gives in some love. This will hopefully ruin their game. Lol, 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 lol.